she told me this, and my first emotion was the tears just came out. She came and gave me a hug, and I was like, I can't believe you're having a baby. It was like your baby's having a baby. It was like a very emotional moment for me. It still is. Ranveer Singh, he'd be a great talk show. I think he's got the personality, he has the sense of humor, he has the ability to think on his feet, he has great repartee. I think he would be amazing. I grew up loving Chintuji and Neetuji, like they were my soul couple. Like I used to get happiness looking at them, watching them. Their movies I used to like cry to watch.
Hello everyone, welcome to ETimes. I'm Rachit Gupta and today with us is Karan Johar. It's a real nerve-wracking moment for me. You're probably one of the most recognized interviewers in the world, and now the roles have reversed. Karan,
Don't be
pressure is on me.
Don't be stressed. I'm easy. I mean, I don't know, that sounded all wrong, but yeah, I'm easy to be interviewed.
Right. You know, it's been 18 years, Coffee with Karan. How does it feel to be one of the most recognized talk show hosts in the world? Had you imagined back in 2004, this is the journey, this is the path it would take?
I mean, honestly, Rachit, if you asked me this question in 2004, would I be sitting here talking to you 18 years later, I would say, are you mad? Are you crazy? I'm doing one season and I'm out of here. Like, just for fun, banter, calling friends, chatting, literally like having a blast doing that. I didn't realize that the show would be what it is. Like, it's now, I think, a kind of a household name. People know, if they are not watching it, they have heard of it at least. I didn't realize that it would follow me everywhere in the world. Like wherever I go, people like literally call me coffee before they call me Karan. Like, you know, so it's almost like I'm a beverage and not a person. And I get that joke every time I'm at a Starbucks out of the country or in the country. Like, oh, can we have coffee with Karan because I'm at Starbucks? And I laugh every time and make them feel like they've cracked a really original joke. But that's the truth, that the show kind of just lived through 2 decades, and I'm really grateful for that.
Right. Have you ever sighed at the coffee puns?
No, I feel like I don't want to grab people of their feeling of originality. You know, like every time, like even when people make meetings with me and like, can I come? I said, what do you drink? He said, coffee, because it's Coffee with Karan. I'm like, ha ha ha, and I laugh every time. And it's happened at least 1,000 times, and I laugh all the time with equal amount of vigor.
Right. Karan, were you always a good conversationalist? Because I believe, that must be key to having such a successful talk show, right?
I think being a talk show doesn't mean you have to be a good conversationalist.
Okay.
It means you have to be a good listener.
All right.
I've always been a good listener. And I think that makes you into a good talk show host. Because a talk show host is not supposed to be talking himself or herself. That's the mistake some talk show hosts make. They talk more than the guest. I'm a good listener. And that is what I think has worked in my favor as a talk show host. It's not that I'm a talker, I'm a listener.
Right.
And I think that's what worked, has always worked on the show.
But you know, over the years, we've seen a lot of stars, they really open up to you. You know, it is about getting people at ease, putting them at ease.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Are those your personal relationships?
Yeah.
Or is there a method to that madness as well?
I just think that 80% of the time, it's the fact that I have a personal dynamic with them. That is already putting them in a comfortable, because they're friends of mine or they're people I know really well in the business. Then the strategy is, if I don't know them, I start with a lot of praise. And once you praise somebody, their defenses drop.
Right.
And then you can, you know, go into other territories.
Right.
But the first 10 minutes, you must praise them. Because everyone enjoys praise.
If you ever had to do a role reversal and entrust the coffee brand to another star, a modern star, who would that be? Have you ever thought about this?
Ranveer Singh, he'd be a great talk show host.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's got the personality, he has the sense of humor, he has the ability to think on his feet, he has great repartee. I think he would be amazing.
Your favorite, I know there are so many Coffee with Karan moments that must be your favorites that have been spoken about. But are there any ones which you remember for not being good? Or they didn't turn out to be the way you expected?
There were a couple, but why say? there were some that was like really like deathly boring.
Okay.
And I think you can see it on my face. Because I can't hide my expressions. Unfortunately, my face is like a mirror of my heart. Like it literally shows what's going on within. There are times that I've been perplexed and shocked, like, why is this person so boring? And that's happened rarely, few and far between, because the format is such that it lends itself to entertainment anyways.
Right.
But there have been some big bores.
Okay. Have you personally ever been at a loss of words? I mean, not just on
Yes,
Coffee.
when I remember when Rakhi Sawant was on the show and she was giving one like line after the other, and I was like, oh my God, like she's amazing. She's made for this.
Right.
Like she's made. I mean, she was fantastic. Like I remember her famous line, "Jo Bhagwan nahi deta, wo doctor de deta." It just went down in the history of one-liners.
Right.
I remember she was like on her feet, like giving it one after the other, not even her rapid. And the other time was when Imran Hashmi gave his rapid fire. You should go and watch his rapid fire.
Okay.
It's the most honest rapid fire
Right.
I have seen right through my 7 seasons.
Right.
He's amazingly honest, disarmed and not bothered about the repercussions.
Right.
And actually, he got away with everything he said because he's that kind of guy.
You know, I mean, were you surprised with some of these people? I mean, you've said Imran and Rakhi, of course. Were there any other surprises that you expected? You know, this person doesn't speak, but they've just opened up to you.
So Tiger Shroff this season,
Okay.
he's been very, very quiet and very introverted, and you know what? He really opened up this season. Like when you see him, when the episode comes up, he spoke much more than he ever has. So I was really pleasantly surprised with his. Like I felt that he's also come into his own, and now you know he's commanding a certain kind of presence that he's putting out there.
Karan, moving to your film, Rocky or Rani, it's such a, I mean, it's such a wide ensemble that it has. Where did this thought come from? Did you always want to sort of bring these generations of actors together?
No, so
and how did it come about?
Well, the core idea of the film is about Rani and Rocky's grandparents. It's to do with their track, and that actually is a true story. It's happened within my family.
Okay.
I don't want to get into details because that would reveal the plot of the film. But it was a trigger point, is where it started from the grandparents' track that created this story. So that's when I started developing Rocky Rani, when I got the idea about the track of the grandparents, which is Dharamji and Shabana in the film.
Right. You know, of late, when we were sort of hearing about the Jug Jug Jio interviews as well, even Raj said that you were one of the key people to bring Neetu ma'am back.
Yeah.
You know, you convinced her.
Yeah.
So what was the thought over there? Were you always waiting that, you know, Neetu Kapoor should be back? And how did you manage to do it?
I love Neetu ji. So I grew up loving Chintu ji and Neetu ji. Like they were my soul couple. Like I used to get happiness looking at them, watching them. Their movies I used to like cry to watch. Like I remember begging my parents to take me to previews where their films were, you know, in the 70s, where trial shows were a big thing. So when I met her post this tragic loss of one of the finest actors of our country, Rishi Kapoor, I was at the house. I knew we were making Jug Jug Jio. And when I saw her and I said, Neetu ji, you've got to get back to work. And I have a film that I want to bring you, you know, bring it to you immediately once I knew things would settle down. She was like, I don't know if I'm ready. And I said, trust me, the only way you'll be ready is if you just get down to doing it.
Right.
And I'm so glad I convinced her, and she got convinced, and she says it herself right now, that was one point that she needed to get out of her zone. And I think Jug Jug Jio was like that moment for her. And I'm so glad that she's lovely in the film, warm, has such terrific screen presence. And now I'm glad she's doing so much work now, and she's really doing solid stuff. And I'm so glad that I could have been the first stop for that.
Karan, you know, just a couple of interviews ago, you mentioned Alia, and you said she's like your daughter. So now that she's turning a new leaf in her life, you know, she's going to be a mother. When you first heard about this, what sort of feelings did you get?
I cried.
Right.
I mean, she came to my office. I remember I was having a bad hair day and wearing a cap.
Okay.
And sitting in a hoodie with a cap. And she told me this. And my first emotion was the tears just came out. She came and gave me a hug. And I was like, I can't believe you're having a baby. Like, it was like your baby's having a baby. It was like a very emotional moment for me. It still is. Like, I think when I look at her and now she's just, I've seen her from a girl transform into this outstanding artist, transform into this wonderful self-assured woman. And I feel so much pride because really she was my first burst of being a parent. My first burst of parenting was actually with her. And because she walked into my office when she was 17.
Right.
She's 29 today, and like these last 12 years have just been magical for her and magical for both of us, because I share such a strong bond with her that to me, I can't wait to actually hold her baby in my arms.
Right.
It'll be a very emotional moment, as close to when I held my own children.
Okay, Karan, next question. You know, the film industry, we all know, it functions on relationships, it functions on associations. Your image is that of a person who has these strong relationships over the years. What does it take to be good with everyone and to maintain those relationships?
See, the thing is that we keep our relationships in the industry very seasonal, as per our work commitment. When you work with somebody, you have a relationship, and then you move on and work with somebody else, and then you don't. That's not how I roll. If I have made a connection, I keep the connection. And that's the only way to do, is to keep a connection.
Right.
I don't believe in seasonal relationships. If I have connected with you at a party, on a film, at an event, we've interacted, we've created some kind of warmth between ourselves, you have to keep that connection going.
Right.
Because people need people. And that's how life will be.
Right.
So everyone, like, I was thinking about it on my own 50th birthday. Like, there were so many people who were there who I may not have worked with or not like connected with in the last 2-3 years, but I've had a relationship with them. We've been in touch through their highs and lows, through my highs and lows. And I am always, whether it's on birthdays, special days, their releases, their big moments in their life, I've always reached out and been there because I've been trained to be that person by my parents. So that's the reason, and I feel that's what people don't do. They fall off the radar with people and then very conveniently sometimes want to jump back. It doesn't happen like that.
Right.
The genuine connection comes when you genuinely want to connect.
It's about putting the effort in.
Yes, you have to, because every relationship needs nurturing and needs building. It needs constant attention. You have to give that attention to a relationship.
Right. Has there ever been that you've had a really strong relationship with someone, a really long association, and you guys have not worked together? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, like I'm so close to so many people who I may not have worked with. I have such a warm relationship with Tabu. I've never worked with her. You know, I have had, of course, with Madhuri, I have a great regard and respect. We have worked professionally. But like, there are people who I have not worked with at all, like with Anil Kapoor and his entire family. I worked with him for the first time on Jug Jug Jio, but we've had such a close relationship.
Right.
So it's got nothing to do with work. It's like these relationships have been built over years. And many such artists, actors, technicians, directors who I have a proper functioning relationship with, and they may not be my instant like work dynamic person, but they are people I have nurtured those relationships with.
One final question, Karan. Ever since these debates have started about North and South films, you know, people are sort of saying there's, you know, South films are going ahead and Hindi films are probably in a slump. But you've worked with both industries, you know. The Bahubali thing happened. You've done so much. I mean, you're bringing Vijay Deverakonda over here as well. What is your opinion on this? Is something going wrong with Hindi cinema, or is South beating us? How do you look at this whole situation?
I think what the South cinema does, one word, conviction.
Right.
Nothing shakes their conviction. They believe in their syntax. They believe in what they want to create. They believe they know what their audience want, and they go full frontal with that belief. We have a herd mentality problem.
Okay.
We suddenly are seeing these movies now do well, now we'll try and make those. Before that, biopics were doing well, we were making biopics. Suddenly social dramas were doing well, we were making those. I mean, we lack conviction in Hindi cinema, and I'm saying that for myself as well. I don't just say it for the industry. I myself have been a victim to this. Our conviction levels are low.
Right.
We need to bring that core conviction back into our writing, into our movie making, and go back to the good old days where we made films without caring about what the social media, critics, intellectuals, opinion makers were saying. People will say, kuch to log kahenge, logo ka kaam hai kehna. They will keep giving their opinion. Let them do what they do. You do what comes to you naturally.
Right.
And I've had that realization recently that I want to go back to the basics when it comes to creating content for cinema.
Okay.
People want to come in to watch cinema which is larger than life, which has got the drama levels that are at an all-time high, that have songs and dances with abandon. We are not now purposely, that's if you want a theatrical big number.
Yeah.
But if you want to make a film that is not as wide, then go digital. Make it for a different platform, a different audience. People will appreciate that too. But don't think you can get high numbers anymore if you don't go the conviction path. That's what I believe.
Right. But this could also be a phase, right, Karan?
No.
No?
Now, it's out there.
Okay.
The cinemas are for a certain kind of films. Digital are for certain kind of content.
Right.
Certain films will not do the kind of numbers that they used to do before, theatrically, because the audience taste in the last 3 years has totally evolved and changed, and maybe the pandemic has a lot to do with it.
Right.
People have gotten used to watching certain films at home.
Okay.
They will not pay that price of a multiplex ticket, which comes with a certain cost, including the refreshments, etc., and travel and everything in reaching the cinema. Now, to get those bums on seats are going to be tougher.
Right.
So you need to have that really big event film or that spectacle film to get the large numbers.
Right.
You still might make moderate numbers, but to get large numbers, like certain high content films were doing very large numbers as well. That I don't think will happen anymore theatrically.
On that note, Karan, let's hope all the bums are on their seats when Coffee with Karan starts streaming.
Yes, I hope
and,
so.
Yeah, and best of luck for that.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.